works. Action. Good evening, class. Welcome to EDR, Educational Technology of whatever, because this is my class and I can say that. What I'm actually going to talk to you guys about today is the inefficiently ways technology is used, a better use of technology, how technology could be enhanced with our technologies that we currently have, backup plans, and then of course things that have come up that could be problematic or that you don't necessarily expect, and then solutions to that. And then of course we'll get into a little participation and we'll kind of see how that goes. So first of all, we have a guy obviously sleeping. Title of it, Technology in the Classroom, Properly Engaging Students, one slide at a time. One of my biggest pet peeves between my work experience and my education is having students be able to be engaged and actually focus and remembering something, because how many times have you been in a class where someone's given a presentation and it's just like this info overload and you're either falling asleep or texting your friend because you're just bored out of your mind. Let's see, you sleeping or just not interested because this lecture is lame? And that's probably what most of you guys think. So this is an example we're getting into of how PowerPoint is misused. It is a technology that's been around for a while, and I thought it'd be a good one to use. PowerPoint is awesome. PowerPoint is wonderful. It solves all the problems that we have with teaching and never is wrong. Never ever. Never ever has its faults. It's like going out to eat when you're on a strict diet, and no matter what you can always turn to is that chef salad because they have it everywhere. Let me keep giving you more information on PowerPoint because it's amazing. It solves all our problems, etc. So as you can see, I could have used actual particular detailed subject matter like history, but you guys get the point. PowerPoint is used ineffectively here because it's just info, blah, 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 blah. There's nothing really engaging about it that's getting your attention. So what we're getting into next is the right way to use PowerPoint. PowerPoint gives you the ability to have an organized lecture. PowerPoint gives the options to use graphs, animations, and words. PowerPoint helps you manage your time so presentations go at the appropriate length. This is an outline, not information overload. Would you agree? Who's in charge of the classroom? The key thing that you got to remember with educational technology or any type of class that you're teaching is that the teacher, or in my case the facilitator, is in charge. It should be the technology. It should be me. So even though I'm using this technology to assist me in my presentation, it doesn't control me. If there's something that I think that comes up that's important, I'm going to go over that, but I'm not going to let technology dictate how I'm going to run the class. Enhanced technology is kind of the next thing I wanted to talk to you about. So let's use Poll Everywhere, for example, to provide an engaging experience. You could use smartphones or tablets. Luckily, not like I've talked to you guys prior to this and had you ready to go with your smartphones, but just in case you are, we're going to do a little question, and I'm going to put it up on the poll in just a second. So the question is, do you think technology enhances the student experience, or does it distract students from learning in the classroom? And we have three options. A, enhances the experience. B, it negatively affects the learning outcome. C, not sure, it depends on the audience of students. Or D, all of the above are possible choices. So what I'm going to do is, let's go to our poll website. Let's see. So we are right here. So if you guys want to go to pollev.com/DavidSummer061, you could go ahead and do that, or you could text it to DavidSummer061 or 37607. I can't say that right now, but and then go ahead and put in your options. And if everything works out, this should work. If it doesn't, though, I'm prepared. I have a paper copy for you guys to actually write down your answers, and then we can do it that way. So one of the key things I'll talk about in a bit is having a backup plan.
I'm going to need the backup plan.
Yes, you do.
It
So,
makes you create an account, so I
yeah,
don't have an account.
do you guys all need,
None of it.
papers?
We could do texting too.
Yeah, you can try
and
the
then
text.
It told me
if-
it's gonna charge my account.
Oh,
That's what it said to me, it said may make charges to your account.
so we might all need paper stuff. Do we all need paper?
Sure.
I believe so.
Okay. And this is why you have to be prepared. I spent all this time going through like, okay, I'm gonna have this poll site and you know, a backup plan. I have a Survey Monkey, which is my backup to technology, and it has failed us. So what I'm gonna ask you guys to do is there are 3 questions on this. I want you to see if you can neatly tear off your answer, and then, you know, just the part that's on that question, rip off, you know, in thirds, and then just write your answer down. So as you guys are experiencing with me, this is the first technology issue that we've had. And one of the most important things I focused on in this entire presentation is trying to show how cool technology is and using it. But part of it is I didn't do my due diligence, and you know, I didn't investigate this more. I have a backup, but that's probably not going to work either, so I like the paper option. So we're going to go back to the PowerPoint then, and I'm just waiting for your guys' answers pretty much.
Christina, I got that one, please.
Thank you. So, out of the question, do you think technology enhances the student experience or distracts students from the learning in the classroom? Because this is supposed to be a short video, we're just going to get right to it. D, all of the above are possible scenarios. Whether you're enhancing the experience, it could have negative effects or outcomes, as we've just seen. A perfect example, we tried to do a poll website and it didn't work out. Part of it might have been the technology, part of it might have been me not being as comfortable as I should have with the technology. And it does depend on your audience. So good job on that, guys. You will get 100 on that question. So we are going to move on. Or not. Technology. All right. The next thing I want to talk about is backup plans are a must. When using technology for your teaching, you have to think about multiple possibilities of what could go wrong. I had a poll website, I had a backup poll website. It didn't work out. So we went back to a practical way of learning. You have to be prepared, and the more prepared you are for the teaching lesson, you'll survive and not turn into the Titanic ready to crash into the iceberg. So trying to keep it relevant. You guys at least know about Titanic, I'm sure. So, for example, we've already gotten to the poll everywhere thing, so we'll skip that. What if PowerPoint goes down? What if the computer fails? Well, if that were to happen, guess what? I had printout slides for each and every single one of you. So I was really prepared for this. But luckily, this worked out, so you guys could use that for notes, or you could recycle it and save the environment. So the next question is, what is the best backup plan? A, have a more practical way of providing the lecture, such as a PowerPoint handout. B, use an alternative technology such as flash drives or other computers. A flash drive here somewhere. Back in the day, this is what we used before they had Google Drives and clouds and things like that. It did wonders. Or C, all of the above are possible options. So go ahead and write down your answer. Thank you.
I'm a fan of floppy disks.
Floppy disk.
That's what I
Floppy
was
disk
gonna
are good.
say.
So you guys all went with C, all the above are possible options, which actually is the correct answer. There's multiple ways, whether you have backup technology or you need to go practical, like we just kind of went through with the Poll Everywhere website. So moving on. Having the right pedagogy. finally said that word right. Pedagogy is defined as the art of teaching. Am I having an effective message for the classroom? Have I thought about what else could go wrong? What are my possible distractions that could arise? Have I thought about all the processes of teaching? These are types of things when you're doing a learning environment, which I tried to think of a lot of options, and even still, as I'm going through this process, I'm finding out things that are coming up, which I'll run through with you guys. Next, pedagogy continued. You need to have an effective teaching plan first, then use technology to enhance the learning experience. If you have it the other way around, just want to throw technology out there, you're going to find yourself that you're not actually teaching what you wanted to in the first place. Know your audience, who you're presenting to. You guys are college kids, so I might talk to you different than I might talk to either a 5-year-old or a 60-year-old. So you really need to know your audience in whatever lesson you're teaching. This is something I learned from my theater background, is you need to have a beginning, middle, and end, no matter where you're going, in order to have a successful teaching lesson. Put that creative touch on the learning experience. Learning is supposed to be fun and exciting. It's important to get your learning lesson out, but you want to make sure that, again, you're not letting technology or others control what the messages and experiences that you want to get out. Now we're going to get into just an idea of a question I want to get into. So the idea is to turn a weakness into a strength, and I actually learned about this by reading in our educational CCHE 590 course. And what I'm going to do is have you guys answer this question. What is an example of what a weakness can be turned into a strength? So we have A, use a social media site such as Facebook or Twitter to engage distracted students in a teaching lesson. B, go to an all-you-can-eat buffet to increase your food intake. I like food, so. Or C, play an exciting game of Fruit Ninja. So go ahead and write down what you guys think is the best possible answer. This is a tough one.
I really want to put Fruit Ninja.
I did something. I thought of it.
So we actually have 3 A's for using social media as a way to disengage. And we actually had somebody put food. Somebody must be really hungry in here. So we need to do something about that. We're eating a little bit. The correct answer is A. Use social media sites such as Facebook or Twitter to engage distracted students in a teaching lesson. So for an example, that could be, students that are distracted, they're Twittering, they're on Facebook, blah, blah, blah. Maybe talk about that in the class and say, have you ever thought about how distracting Facebook is? And then you're all of a sudden, now you're on their level and you're getting them engaged in something that they're into, and you're using that to teach them something. So I thought that was a really helpful thing that I learned with that. Some conclusions, I'm going to go over a few quick things with you guys, but to solve the teaching problem of losing engagement of students is to use technologies such as poll voting websites to get students to participate in subject discussions. Also, if poll sites don't work, have a practical backup plan, like I did. Come up with best processes for teaching lessons that will be most effective for the learning outcomes. Get reactions and feedback in order to improve on your future classes. Rather than just getting a tally up, strongly agree, strongly disagree, actually ask the students, get their reactions in class, figure out, did I do a good job on this? Which we'll get into a little bit later. But if you don't have that feedback to improve on, how are you supposed to excel and move on and become a better instructor? And my most important thing that I think of, remember the goal for students to remember is what you're trying to teach them, and by using technology the right way, you'll have successfully succeeded in the solution to the problem. So you want them to remember something at the end of the day. A couple things that I wanted to run through with you guys that happened to me with this teaching problem solution / whatever. Obviously, we've already experienced the internet poll stuff. Didn't really work out. I had some login issues prior to this, getting the right passwords. I actually tried to get really technical and use PowerPoint. There's a PowerPoint app on your phone to figure out a way to use PowerPoint on your Office 365, which we all have our accounts and stuff, to send you guys an email, download that, and then have it on your phones. Problem with that, when I tried to test it out myself, server error issues. So that failed. So We could also use a learning management system. I call that something like a Blackboard, because this is amateur video and instruction. I'm not that sophisticated in that, so that wasn't an option for me. And then what I ended up doing was printing the PowerPoint slides out for you guys just in case this were to crash. My USB stick didn't work, flash drive didn't work. The cloud did work, but what if none of them worked? So then we had the printout. Now, a true story about the printout, earlier today I was figuring out how to print them out into handouts, so you could put notes. Now, the original PowerPoint that I'm used to, it was literally like 2 clicks. You know, you go to print and then select as handouts. This was like a 9-step process on 2013. I had to go through like 9 steps. I had to go to printing out handouts for PowerPoint for Dummies.com. And I literally had, it was literally like a 9-step process. So that was a technology issue for me, was thinking that I knew the technology, and obviously I didn't. The other thing that I attempted to do, but because I realized my main go-to wasn't working, I did create another account using SurveyMonkey, and then attempted to get participation using the polls that we talked about. But since you guys are already having internet technology issues, I don't think taking you to another website would have done much good. So again, being practical, sometimes back to the paper is the best way. In a large class, that would be a little more challenging, but basically what this stuff is, you need to be prepared for any given situation and think of ways that you can still teach the lesson, either using different technology or going very practical. So I want to take this time just to see if you guys had any questions on anything as far as the lecture or anything, or do you guys feel like you learned something? Was this effective, or was this kind of just like a bunch of information and I failed in my experience to teach you guys something about the responsible uses of technology in the classroom? Cody?
Well, I'm only usually in in-person classes anyway, so usually when you go over like the syllabi and stuff for classes, they talk about Facebook and how distracting it is. So it kind of felt like it was just like the same information, but it's still important to bring up because I'm the biggest abuser of that. Is if I get bored in a lecture, I'll sit there and be on my phone. So it's still important to bring up, but it's not like it's anything that we haven't heard, being the phone generation that we are.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's something that, in the future I might simplify and just kind of make a little bit shorter section on that. Anybody else have anything to add before we wrap this up?
I think another thing that I could critically, it could interfere with the whole technology process of using the internet as the phones themselves. Seeing as how me, for example, I don't have service here.
Yeah, service is a problem. So
I feel like in order to bypass that, stay in a bigger lecture hall or not in a 4-class environment, you could set up your own Wi-Fi server and have the students go into it.
personal hotspot, excellent idea.
Or you can get them connected to the cloud, or other options, or make sure they all create accounts or have student accounts available for them.
Perfect.
Well, that's what's good about NAU is a lot of larger lectures will have you purchase a clicker. And those, it's only like $30, and I've used mine at least once every semester since I've been here. So, and then they'll have you do surveys and stuff, and it's really just kind of to wake up the class after you've had like a really long lecture. They're like, all right, here's some extra points for you.
Time to get you guys involved.
It's really nice for the students because if you're paying attention and doing your work, you get a couple extra points. So it gives you that incentive to work harder. So it's useful.
Excellent. Well, I've learned some stuff, as sure as you guys have learned some stuff too, and this has been a great experience. And my main takeaways for this is, when using technology, be responsible, whether you're a student giving a presentation or you're actually ever teaching, and you need to have the right pedagogy, say that word right, in order to have a plan on what you're doing with it. Remember, the plan, it should be thought of before the technology, and then once you come up with the plan, then the technology comes in. My plan was to teach you guys the ineffectiveness of technology with the enhancement, backup plans, and then I'm like, what technologies could I use for that to demonstrate that. And I think we did today in this lecture, and I want to say thank you, and I appreciate you guys hanging here for a bit with me. Thank you.